When you fill my heart with joy, was I blind to the truth? Just there to fill the space, 'cause now you have no interest in anything that I have to say. I've allowed you to make me feel. I feel so dumb. What kind of fool am I? You so easily set me aside. You made a fool of me. Tell me why. You say that you don't care, but we made love. Tell me why. You made a fool of me. You made a fool of me.
Well. What's going on, everybody? This is Clarence Jr. breaking down the Bulldogs, and 5 in a row. 5 in a row. Now, one of them was against a Division I program on the rise, so we'll take that one off. But nevertheless, 4 in a row. 4 conference games in a row. 3 in a row at home. Same old problem. The offensive system. So I want to be clear. It's not that we don't have the players. It's not that we don't have the talent. It's not that we don't have the weapons. The system is the problem. This is a bad offensive system. And what makes this even more angering is, first of all, the Winston-Salem State loss was already a bad loss because it was at home, and you had 6 red zone possessions, and you still could have and should have won the game even after you spotted them 14 points. But to make that worse, they just turned around and lost to Shaw. This loss was a bad loss because Virginia State is not a good team. Virginia State came into this game having lost 3 of their last 4. And if you watched the game, if you were there in person, you saw in person, they are a very undisciplined, highly penalized team. Their wide receiver core does not scare you at all. They don't take care of the football. That's the team you got to beat at home. But let's look at the numbers. Once again, at the half, we had 83 total yards. At halftime, 83 total yards. That's unacceptable, man. Look at this. Let's look at yesterday's game. Outrushed them. Okay, That's a good thing. But they outpassed us. They out. That's unfortunate, man. They outpassed us. We had less than 300 total yards of offense. Let me make sure I make. Yeah, okay. Let me do it like this. Less than 300 yards of total offense against a team that's really not known for defense. Oh man, it's like, where do you even start? This is the problem. Look, we held them to 6 of 19 on 3rd and 4th down. And we forced 3 turnovers. So the question becomes, how do you outrush somebody? Or just basically, I guess you could say the running numbers were even. The running numbers are even, but you forced 3 turnovers and you hold them to 6 of 19 on 3rd and 4th down. How do you lose that game? Well, look at this. They went to the red zone 3 times. They scored 3 times, 3 touchdowns. We were in the red zone 5 times. 5. We only came away with points twice out of 5 red zone trips. So one of our touchdowns was outside of the red zone. It was a long pass play for a touchdown. So that's 7 points. So that means in addition to those 7 points, you were also in the red zone 5 other times for a potential of 7 times 5, 35 more points. So the most points that was available for us to score in this game was 42. We scored 21. That's when you only have 5 penalties, they have 10. You have 1 turnover, they have 3. You hold them to 6 of 19 on 3rd and 4th down. You get 5 red zone possessions. How do you only score 21 points and lose the game at home? Well, look at us. 7 of 22 on 3rd and 4th down. And let me tell you something. That last drive, well, I can't call it a drive because it was like a 3 and out. That last possession we had with under 2 minutes left, that's seriously? Matter of fact, I'm going to rewind from that because before we got the ball with a chance to tie the game with under 2 minutes left, prior to that, we had the ball in one of those red zone possessions with over 3 minutes left. So let's just think about this for a second. You have the ball. There's over 3 minutes left in the game. You are in the red zone. You need to tie the game. You get stopped and turn it over on 4th down. To make matters worse, the offensive coordinator, after the failed 4th down attempt, is telling the officials that the sticks had 3. What does that mean? That means that the offensive coordinator did not know it was 4th down. I'm going to repeat that again. It's under 4 minutes left in the game. We are down by 1 possession, but we are in the red zone. We turned the ball over on downs in the red zone after getting stopped on 4th down. That's when the offensive coordinator says to the officials, the sticks said 3. And I'm not even disputing on whether or not the sticks did say 3. But what I am saying is the offensive coordinator with the game on the line did not know how many plays we ran. That's the first possession under 4 minutes that we have in the red zone. We stopped them. We get the ball back. Less than 2 minutes left. Chance to tie the game once again. 4 and out. You know something, guys? For the longest time, I've been doing this show for a few years now. I've been doing it, more seriously recently, and like I said, the last year and a half. And if I'm going to be 100% real, over the past, let's say over the past two and a half years, people have been saying things to me that I've just completely overlooked, right? Because there's certain things that you expect people to say when they have loved ones playing for a team, particularly when the team is not winning enough, right? And one of those things is they're not playing the right guys. These people should be playing. They're not using the pieces they have correctly. You expect to hear stuff like that. Once again, especially when the team is not performing at the level that people think they should be performing. So that's something that I have heard quite a bit over the past, let's say, 2 years. Whether it be YouTube comments, whether it be DMs, whether it be in person. I'm talking friends, former teammates, family members, parents, homeboys from around the way, so forth and so on. I've heard over the years in several different ways, they're not playing the right guys. They're not using the right guys. They don't know how to use with the talent that they have. They have the talent. They don't know how to use it. I've heard that so many times over the past 2 years. And I've always chalked it up to, that's what people say when their loved one is not playing and they think that they should be. Like that's normal. People do that all the time. I've always kind of just like, oh, okay. People always say that. But after what I've seen this season, in particular, these last 4 games, Livingstone, WSSU, Fayetteville, and Virginia State, and after I've been looking at the offense this year, and then going back and looking at the previous 2 years, you know what? If I'm going to be real, I'm going to have to say that, you know what? At this point in time, I think I'm starting to agree with all of those people who have said that. They don't know how to use the talent. They got the players. They don't use the players. They don't put them in positions. They're not putting the right guys on the field. I'm starting to think that that's true. Because what we've been seeing for the I'm gonna start with this year, but what we've been seeing this year in particular is an unexplainable reliance on a particular formation that does not make sense to me. And the reason it doesn't make sense to me is because it hasn't worked. We already looked at the numbers. This is the worst offense in the CIAA. So the numbers say, and the win-loss record says, this offensive system, philosophy, formations, play calling does not work. But for whatever reason, there's this dedication and loyalty to this. I'm going to put 3 receivers on one. I'm going to get in the shotgun. I'm going to put 3 receivers on this side. I'm going to put 1 receiver on this other side. There's been like it's almost like he's contractually obligated to run the majority of the offense out of this formation. I don't have a problem with the formation per se, other than the fact that we use it for the most part and it's not producing results. That's the only problem I have with it. And so my thing is, the goal of the offensive coordinator, excuse me, my sweet thing just walked by, kind of distracted me for a second, but I'm back into it now. But anyway, the goal of an offensive coordinator should be to score a lot of points, obviously. And how do you score points? You put your personnel in positions where they can be successful. And how do you put your players in a position where they can be successful? You highlight their strengths and you lean into that. And you get them comfortable. And you get them into a flow. You get them into a rhythm. You build up their confidence. That's how it goes. And so, for whatever reason, the offense has not been able to build confidence, to get into a flow, to get into a rhythm, to put up points and move the ball consistently with these play callings and these formations that we've primarily ran. And so the question becomes, at what point do you do something different? If you're having issues with consistency on the offensive line, at what point do you try something different? If you're having issues with the quarterback's timing and anticipatory throws and confidence and seeing the field and letting the ball go on time and accurately, at what point do you try something else to get players comfortable, to get them into a rhythm, to build their confidence, to move the ball consistently? At what point do you do that? How long do you stick to, I'm going to get in the shotgun, I'm going to put 3 receivers over here, I'm going to put 1 receiver over there, and we're going to do it like that? How many red zone possessions do you have to see result in nothing? How many red zone possessions do you have to not score a touchdown before it crosses your mind that, you know what, maybe this shotgun 3 receivers over here, 1 over there, maybe that's not effective consistently enough in the red zone to produce touchdowns? So I'm not going to lie and say that we don't score touchdowns in the red zone out of that formation. But what I can say is we're not scoring nearly enough touchdowns in the red zone, as evidenced by our points per game and the record. And so at what point do you try, I don't know, the offensive line is having issues with consistency. At what point do you try twin tight ends? At what point do you have more designed quarterback runs? At what point do you do split backs where you have 1 back on each side of the quarterback? Now you can get in the I formation, have the quarterback under center, a fullback, which we do have on the roster. We'll talk about that soon. The running back behind him, 2 tight ends. We do have 2 tight ends also. We'll talk about that. And then you can put 2 wide receivers on the outside of that. We've heard for the longest that a tight end is a young quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks, or quarterbacks in general, best friend. At what point do we go heavy? Put tight ends on the line, have them block, have them helping pass pro, have them leak out short dump offs across the middle. Quick completions for first downs. Have them in there, run screens to the running back, run screens for the fullback. At what point do we try play action? Oh my God, what? Play action pass? What? You mean it's still legal to put the quarterback under center, snap the ball, fake the handoff to the running back, and then pass the ball downfield? What? You can is that still legal? You mean you can get in the I formation with a fullback, run the ball down somebody's throat, have them put another man in the box, and then hit him with play action pass downfield? What? You mean to tell me that you can open up the offense and put the secondary on edge by every now and again just throwing a 9 route just to keep them honest, to keep them on their toes? You mean to tell me you can't 2-3 times a game just go deep, just 9 route? Challenger Valentine, Antoine Banks, just run straight down the field. We throwing it downfield. We're gonna see if we can catch them off guard. You mean you can do that? You mean to tell me that after you force a fumble and you have the ball on your own side of the field, that you can take a shot play into the end zone just to see if they're ready for that quick change? Who knew? And so that's when I said, you know what? Maybe we don't do these kinds of things because we don't have the personnel. And so that's when I said, let me take a look at the roster. And so that's what we are going to do together. We are going to take a look at our 2025 football roster together. All right? Because I want to show you guys what I saw. Let me make sure let me put this right here. I want you guys to see what I saw. All right? So, because I said, you know what? Do we have fullbacks? Do we have tight ends? Do we have those players? Because what I did see on Saturday is I saw, I think, a number 43. Big fella, caught a pass, 2 passes in the game. I said, who is he and where has he been? Right? So that's what I started to look at, right? So let's look. Let's see if we can find fullbacks and tight ends on this roster. Because once again, you would think that you would try some different things if you are struggling on the O-line. So let's see. Let's see if we can find some tight ends and some fullbacks. Let's just look, you know. Nothing hurts a fail but a try, right? So let's just look, right? Okay, we see some DBs, some linebackers. We see some more running backs. Okay. We see some more running backs, linebackers. Let's see if we can find a tight end. Let's look. Oh, here we go. Markeith Hines, a fullback, 5'10", 215 pounds, right? Let's go ahead and click on. Let's go ahead and look at this young man, Markeith Hines. All right, let's just go ahead and look at this. Once again, 5'10", 215. Let's look at the stats. He's a freshman, all right? Let's see. He's played in 1 game, and that was this game against Virginia State. Once again, 2 catches for 11 yards. Now, I saw this young man when he got into the game, and I said, oh, man, this is a big body who apparently has hands and can move. This is a fullback that you can use in multiple ways. You can use him as a fullback. You can use him as a tight end. But the key part is 5'10", 215. He is a freshman, but hey, listen, you got to do what you got to do. I saw him play a couple of plays in this game. I saw that. And so I thought to myself, we do have a fullback, at least one. Why have we not been using the fullback more frequently up until now? So I said, let me see if we got any more fullbacks or tight ends. Because you could, if you wanted to, you could use Markeith Hines in the backfield as a pass catcher, as an extra blocker, maybe even a runner from time to time. Or you could also use him as a tight end if need be. I said, let me see who else we got on this roster, though. Let me look. All right. I said, because I feel like I know for a fact we have at least one tight end on the roster. I know that for a fact. Now, why we don't use him, listen, that's, I don't know. We're going to get back to this O-line thing, too, in a second, but okay. So I'm looking, because I'm like, I know we got a tight end. I know we do. I'm looking. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. Redshirt senior, 6'6", 215 pounds. Isaac Agagbor. Let's look. Right? Because we've been having issues on the line. We got fullbacks, we got tight ends. Let's see if they play at all. Look at this. 2024 didn't see any action. Let's look at this year. 2025. No stats. Which means what? For whatever reason, Isaac Agagbor is not playing. Now, I can't tell you whether he's good or bad. I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is we need to try something else. We need to get the tight ends involved. We need to get the quick passing game going. We need help providing protection to the quarterback on a consistent basis. And this 6'6", 215 guy, maybe he could help. Maybe not, but maybe. What I'm saying is after you lose 4 straight, why not try something, So that's another. That's the tight end right there. We've seen the fullback, 5'10", 215. We see a tight end, 6'6", 215. Let's see if we can find anybody else. Oh, here we go. Kyrie Scott from Norfolk State. I know I'm almost 100% sure that Kyrie Scott is not injured. I'm almost 100% sure he's healthy and dressed and active. Now, here's the quote. 6 foot, 220 pounds. Played in one game last year against Davenport, and this year appeared in 2 games. Caught a pass against Winston-Salem. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying this is an all CIAA tight end and he got great hands or anything. I don't know. But what I am saying is, at the very least, we can get a tight end in the game, help with blocking, help in a quick, short passing game, break up zones, help generate some first downs so the offense can get in the rhythm and stay in the field. So we got Isaac, we got Kyrie, we got the young freshman at fullback. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because you're having issues on the line. You're having issues in the passing game. You're having issues moving the ball and getting first downs. And you have guys that in theory could help you, but for whatever reason, you're not even attempting it. That's a problem. That's the problem. You got 2 tight ends and the fullback, and none of them have any real stats. And you can justify that if you are winning. But when you are losing, there is no justification for not getting guys in the field and just seeing what they can do, seeing if they can help you, coming up with some packages, switching things up, changing the formations. And let's talk about O-line, because as I was looking on the roster for fullbacks and tight ends, and I found quite a few, none of which have any stats. As I was doing that, what I also found was there are 20 offensive linemen on the team. And so then my question becomes, how are you struggling on the offensive line and you have 20 offensive linemen on the roster? At some point, you have to figure out a combination that can give you some level of consistency. Like, look at this. These are all, look. O-lineman, O-lineman, O-line, 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 O-line. How do you have that many offensive linemen and you can't figure out how to coach them up? You can't figure out the right combinations. You can't figure out how to move this one over here to left tackle, move that one over there to the right tackle, put this one on the blind side, put that one and have this one placed. You can't figure this out? You got 20 guys and you can't figure out? Come on, man. And see, this is where I started to think, you know what, maybe all those people that said, hey, they have the players, they don't use the right guys, they don't know what maybe they're right. Because I don't see how you have tight ends and fullbacks on the roster and you're you're struggling, you're not even struggling, you are a bad offense. A bad offense. I don't see how at a certain point you haven't said, you know what, we're gonna try I formation, we're gonna try twin tight ends, we're gonna try split backs, we're gonna put a fullback in the game, we're gonna go play action, we're gonna do a certain number of shot plays per game, we're gonna do fade routes in the back of the end zone, when we get in the red zone short yardage, we're gonna put tight ends in there and have them run short. Like, I don't see how you haven't tried any of this stuff. I don't see how you're still doing the same thing and you got guys registering 0 stats, but you have the worst scoring offense in the conference, but you ain't even come on, man. That's when I start to think to myself, you know what? Maybe all these people that's been saying, you know what, they don't know how to use their guys, they're not putting the guys in the game that can help. Maybe they're right. Because I don't see how you have these tight ends and they're not being used. You got fullbacks, they're not being used. I don't understand it. I don't understand how you play the Livingstone game, right? You see that they can't stop the run, but you don't lean heavily on the run. And your response to losing that game is not for you to switch up your play calling and your philosophy, but your results is to make a change at quarterback. As if it was the quarterback's fault why we lost the game. That was a huge red flag right there. We're on the road at Livingstone. It is clear we are having issues blocking them in the passing game. It's also clear they can't stop the run, and it's a one-possession game, but we just insist on keep on passing the ball, and we lose a game by 1 point. And your response to that is not to adjust your play calling, but the response is, I'm going to take out the starting quarterback. Let's just be real. Kevin Taylor did not do anything in the Livingstone game that would warrant him being taken out and not playing in the Winston game. Nothing. Once again, unless there's something going on in practice or with grades or insubordination, okay. But if the thinking was we didn't score enough points and we didn't win the game, and so I'm gonna switch quarterbacks, that's a problem. That's a problem. But this weekend is going to be a huge test for the offensive staff at Bowie State University because, and I want y'all to see this. I'm gonna pull this up for you guys. We are playing the absolute. Well, I can't say probably one of, if not the worst defenses in the CIAA, if not all of Division II. We're playing Bluefield State. But look at this. Bluefield State is 3-3. They got 2 conference wins. We got none. That's crazy. That is crazy. But why did I bring this up? I want you guys to see Bluefield's what they do on defense. Bluefield is giving up 47. Bluefield State gives up 47 points a game. A game. They give up 264 rushing yards a game. In 6 games, they've given up 21 rushing touchdowns. As if that wasn't bad enough, they give up another 214 passing yards a game. And they've given up 18 passing touchdowns in 6 games. They give up on average 416 yards. No, that's my bad. They give up 478 yards a game. 478 yards a game. They've given up 40 touchdowns in 6 games. Listen, if we can't score 30 points in this game, something is wrong. I'm not even talking about the win or the loss because I mean, listen, if you listen, I'm not even going to entertain that. You cannot lose this game. I don't care that they're 3-3 and it's at Bluefield. You bet not lose this game. But beyond that, you have to score 30 offensive points in this game. You got to. That's not even asking a lot. Listen, they've given up 31 red zone possessions this year. And of 31 red zone possessions, they've given up 25 touchdowns. Teams are converting 53% of their third downs and 50% of their fourth downs. Once again, they give up 47 points a game. And let's go to the schedule and look at some of these games. Tusculum scored 49. Concord in the loss scored 31. Wingate scored 72. Wingate had 35 points in the first quarter. Johnson C. Smith scored 69. Shaw in the win scored 35 on them. At Bluefield, listen, Shaw scored 33 points at Bluefield for Bluefield's homecoming. They won the game, but still. Lincoln put up 27. Once again, let's look at these point totals. 27, higher than us for the year. 33, higher than us for the year. 69, 72, 31, 49. Listen, If we can't score 30 points in this game on offense, if we can't move the ball, win time of possession, rush for over 180 yards, pass for over 175 yards, close to 400, if not more, yards of total offense, convert third downs, get in the red zone, score touchdowns in the red zone, and of course, win the game, enough is enough at that point. There's certain things I don't say about people and their employment, and I'm not going to. But what I will say is, if you can't come up with a successful offensive plan against Bluefield State, I mean, what are we doing? I mean, seriously, what are we at that point, what are we doing? Once again, they give up 47 points a game. A game. They give up 478 yards a game. Listen, man. They've given up 40 touchdowns in 6 games. And let me tell you something. They done won some games. They looking at us like, oh, we can get Bowie. That's a damn shame, man. That's a damn shame. Teams are now looking at Bowie like, oh, we can get them. Oh, that's a dub for sure. Bowie, oh, that's a W. That's sad. How far we have fallen to where people look at Bowie on the schedule and go, oh, okay, that's a dub. And once again, I never paid any attention to the people that would say, hey, they don't know how to use their players. They got guys on the team, they're not putting them in the game. I was like, yeah, people always say that, but I'm starting to say, you know what, man, them people was right. Them people was right. Like, cause I don't know how you can explain this. I really don't. You would think that coming into the third year of bad offense, and at some point we would have saw quarterback under center, play action, twin tight ends, split backs. You would think that, hey, at a certain point, the guys would be like, you know what, we're going to throw the kitchen sink and we're going to try everything. One of these formations, one of these philosophies, one of these play calling, one of these schemes going to work. But you would think that at some point they would go, you know what, everybody in the game, everybody we got, we're going to try them out, see if they can offer us something. Got the tight ends and the fullbacks on the roster. At what point do you say, you know what, we're going to go tight ends, we're going to go heavy, we're going to go quick passing game, we're going to get the quarterback into a rhythm? I watch a lot of football, and one thing that I do know is that most teams, if they don't look good the whole game, they look good on 2 drives. The first drive of the game and the first drive coming out of half. Now, they may not do nothing else on offense the whole rest of the game, but for 2 drives, most teams look good. With Bowie State, it don't matter if it's the first drive of the game, the first drive of the half, or if it's the last drive. We don't. It's just bad. Like this is crazy. I don't know how else to put it, man. Enough is enough, man.